Hello, friends, and welcome into another episode of Outreach Radio Chicago. I am your host, Mike Mercado, and I want to thank you so much for joining us today. On today's show, we have a very special guest. She is the president of Second City Canine. She is Jacquie Cobb, and she's going to give us some great information if you're interested in fostering or adopting one of our four-legged friends this holiday season, guys. We can make a difference. We can save some lives, and it's a very exciting show for us here today. Don't forget, you can follow us everywhere in the universe, guys. We're on Twitter at Mercado2333. We would love to hear from you. Like the page on Facebook at Outreach Radio Chicago. We have really cool content pre and post show, stuff that you guys are missing. So please like the page on Facebook. And if you've missed any show, go to YouTube/Mike Mercado2333. I'm very excited about our guest today. She is Jacquie Cobb. She is the president of Second City Canine Rescue. They do some awesome work over there, guys. To give you a little information about them, Second City Canine Rescue's mission is to rescue homeless animals and responsibly place them into permanent loving homes. And that's one thing they really do believe in, is making sure that these animals, these little innocent creatures, go into the proper home, to the proper families, the right situation, because too often they're not. They're a nonprofit organization, 100% volunteer run, and they care. And that's the one thing that you notice about this. They branch out to different areas such as Oklahoma, Indiana, Kentucky, Southern Illinois, Texas, and Michigan, other places around the country that have a really bad homeless dog situation. So they do a lot of great work. Go on their website at secondcitycaninerescue.org. Their Twitter is Second City Canine. That's Second City K9, the letter K and 9. If you have any information that you want to get from them, if you want to foster, if you would like to adopt, go to their website, secondcitycanine.org, or go on their Facebook page at Second City Canine, and they have really cool festivals and events they have throughout the year, so please check them out. We have a lot to get to. Jacquie Cobb, president of Second City Canine Rescue, joins us here on Outreach Radio Chicago. You can find us everywhere on Twitter, guys. We're at Mercado2333. Like the page on Facebook at Outreach Radio Chicago for pre and post show stuff. And of course, if you missed any show, just go to YouTube/Mike Mercado2333. Jacquie Cobb joins us next on Outreach Radio Chicago. You can find the show everywhere in the universe. We're on Twitter at Mercado2333. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at Outreach Radio Chicago. And if you missed any show, just go to YouTube/Mike Mercado2333, and you can see them all there. On the line today, Jacquie Cobb. She's the president of Second City Canine Rescue. Real busy, and she's giving us some time. Jacquie, thank you so much for joining us on Outreach Radio. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about how this all started. I mean, it's I know it's easy to love dogs, but to actually go out there and try to make a difference. You want to tell us a little bit about how you guys got started? I know you've actually went to school. You're trying to get is it a doctorate in veterinarian?
Yeah, I'm actually studying for my DVM right now, so I'll be a vet in 2019.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We started in September 2011 with just 3 of us. Wanted to make a difference with the homeless pets in Chicagoland and got together and decided to form a rescue. We currently have over 200 volunteers, and we've saved over 1,400 lives through the work of our foster homes.
Unbelievable.
Thanks. We don't have a facility, so all of our dogs are housed in foster homes, which is really great because we're able to get to know a little bit more about them, whether they're housebroken, how they react when visitors come to the door, how they are with children, things like that, so that we can find a really good forever home for them.
How does that process work? I actually have a friend who fosters kittens and cats. And so how does that process work when it comes specifically with you guys? What's kind of the screening process to find a foster family, and then from there to find the right adoptive family?
Sure. So for our foster families, we have them send in an application. From there, they would go to one of our orientations where they learn a little bit about us, make sure it's a good fit for us and for them. And then we do a home visit where we go to their house, kind of see how their family dynamics are, see if they do well with like a higher energy dog or more of a couch potato, see what would kind of fit in their family. Mm-hmm. And then they pick from some of the dogs that we see that come in from high kill shelters, including Chicago Animal Care and Control, as well as shelters from out of state. We work with several shelters in Oklahoma, Alabama, Kentucky, where the kill rate's pretty high as well. And then from there, our adopters find us usually online, and then we also have adoption events every Saturday in Schaumburg and Elk Grove.
Oh, nice.
And then they meet the dogs there, and we do home visits on them as well. So we're able to have them meet the dog initially at the adoption events, which can be kind of chaotic, and then do the second meet and greet at the home where the dog acts more like it would normally.
Yeah, right.
There's not 30 other dogs around.
Yeah, right. No kidding. Hey, look, I found my friend over there. Oh, there's a squirrel.
Yep.
That's about right. No, so this is something that's always just kind of it always kind of just bothered me and just been on the top of my head. But what's the reason why there's just so many, homeless dogs? Is it because, like, I've always read different things where it's people moving into apartments and then they move somewhere else and they don't allow these dogs and they don't, they leave them. They just leave them at these shelters. What, in the years you've been doing this, what is kind of the biggest plague when it comes to why dogs are being left homeless? Like, what is the problem? Where is this coming from?
I think that the root of the problem is spay and neuter. A lot of people don't spay and neuter their pets, and that's key in preventing those puppies from being born in the first place. Mm-hmm. Once someone gets a pet, the normal age that we see dogs in shelters is between 6 months and 2 years. Okay. So it's once they're past that adorable little I want a puppy stage, and without training, they turn into little hellions. So I think that's a big part of it, is it just becomes too much for a lot of families. And same, just like you said, people moving, people that are a little more transient, maybe moving to apartment buildings that don't necessarily allow pets at all, or pets over a certain weight, or pets of a certain breed. That's something we see a lot.
See, it's funny because I think every person that's over the age of like 12 has heard Bob Barker tell you spay or neuter your pets. So I don't understand. Is it an expensive procedure? We had it done to our dog, and we did a little bit later, but he never really had any interactions with enough to do that. But the idea of, like, is it an expensive procedure? Is it something that you got to go out of your way? Why isn't it something people just jump on right away to do?
Well, there's a lot of aversions to it, especially in certain cultures with neutering, because you're taking away his manhood, but in all reality, the dog doesn't care.
Yeah, right.
So it's not an expensive procedure. I mean, the dog's going under full anesthesia, so it's usually a couple $100. However, there are a lot of low-cost clinics in the area. There's Spay Illinois. There are Friends of Animals, which is a program that you can work with at several different vets. Paws has a low-cost clinic. Anti-Cruelty has a low-cost clinic. They're everywhere. People just have to look for them.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think is the biggest thing that you have to tell anybody that's thinking of adopting a pet? Because I have an older dog, and in the near future I could see, God forbid the day he leaves us. And what do you think? What would you give advice to somebody, a first time adoptive parent to a dog? What do you suggest to them? What advice do you have?
So my advice is to not fall in love with a picture, and that's really, really hard to do.
Yes.
My favorite type of family that we have come to us is say, hey, we want a dog. We don't know what kind of dog, but here's a little bit about us. And they tell us about their lifestyle, about how often they're home, about how much they exercise, about how much they anticipate going to training or not going to training. And that's not always a bad thing. If they want an easy dog that they don't have time to train, we have a 5-year-old dog named Doug right now who's a great dog who's housebroken. He's, you know what I mean? Like, he's got the basic commands down. That's an easier dog for a family that really wants it, kind of a plug-and-play dog. However, if you fall in love with the cute, fluffy Australian Shepherd puppy,
of course,
and you don't necessarily know what you're getting into, that's a really intelligent breed, and that's a breed that's going to need a lot of training, a lot of exercise, and a lot of work, which, if that's what you want, that's not a bad thing. But if it's not what you want, you're not going to have a good fit. So a lot of times we'll see people that fall in love with a picture on the internet, and it's just not the right fit for their lifestyle. So we always try to kind of steer them towards a dog that sounds like it would be a better fit for what they're actually looking for, rather than just on looks.
That's really interesting, because I think one thing people tend to forget about any pet, any animal, is like they have little personalities of their own. They're they're their own little creature, you know?
Absolutely.
That's amazing. So let's. I hate to kind of get it out of the way. One of the things that when I started getting this process going was kill shelters. Just how heartbreaking it is. I on Facebook I think it was just a few days ago, a local shelter had an adopt-a-thon. And I don't know if you've seen any of the pictures of it, but the basic headline was, for the first time in the history of the shelter, there was no barking and there was nothing because all the animals had been adopted. Mm-hmm. For you, what is kind of the goal when it comes to these kill shelters? Are they a necessity? Are they one of those hard truths just because of the way the world is?
I think right now that yes, that is the case. However, I think that with some progressive thinking and some progressive leadership at those shelters, that can change. I firmly believe that. Unfortunately, our government shelters, especially in Chicago, have the typical government red tape when it comes to hiring. They, a lot of the time, hire people that have no experience in animal welfare or animal welfare work at all. That said, they have a lot of great employees, too. But it needs to come from the top down. And when our government doesn't seem to care what's happening to those pets, that kind of just permeates throughout the whole facility.
See, and I don't understand that mindset either, though, because how much money is put into the economy on our pets to begin with? Like, exactly. It's a very driven market, and it's being ignored in that sense. Now, at Second City Canine, what is kind of the ultimate goal? Are you guys looking to maybe one day get your own facility? I know you're extremely busy. I know your partners are extremely busy, doing your own thing, trying to help in your way, in your life specifically, and on top of this organization. But what are kind of the goals when it comes to what you guys are doing?
Honestly, I don't want our own facility, and that's a question I get asked a lot, and it's kind of not an expected answer, I think. I really like having the foster homes and having that insight into those dogs' personalities in order to provide a better match. I think that a lot of times when a dog is just living in a cage 24/7, you don't know how that dog's going to act in a home. You don't know if that dog's going to bark his head off all day and then he goes to a home that's in an apartment where it's not going to work out. So I think that having the foster homes is key. I would maybe like to have a little intake facility one day where they stay, they get vetted, they stay for a couple days, and then they go to their foster home. But in general, our goal is just to save as many dogs as we possibly can. It's to get dogs out of the kill shelters and out of the situations where they're at risk and place them with families that are going to love them for the rest of their lives.
Jacquie Cobb, she's the president of Second City Canine Rescue, extremely busy joining us, giving us some awesome information here on Outreach Radio Chicago. Now, when it comes to the fostering, what are the things that if you're trying to let's say you're trying to become a foster, what's the exact a foster home? You could just use that term for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So to become a foster home, what are kind of the things that people look for? The qualifications for you need a house, you need a big enough yard, kids. What are kind of the things that you look for experimental wise to see these animals, these little guys?
That's the best part about it, honestly, is you can have a yard or you don't have to have a yard. You can be in an apartment, you can be in a house, you can have 4 kids, you can have no kids. We'll match the right dog for your situation. So really the qualifications are you have to be a loving human being that cares about the cause. We also provide food, crates, bowls, collars, leashes, obviously the vet care. All we ask is that you're able to transport that dog to and from adoption shows every Saturday while you have it.
Okay, so it's a partnership. You'll
absolutely.
That's great. It's amazing. It's unfortunate that there's not more of organizations like Second City. So it's glad to see you guys are definitely ahead of the curve. Now, Let's talk a little bit about Jacquie Cobb. When you started, what was kind of the motivation? Have you always been a dog person?
I have.
Yeah.
I've always been a crazy dog lady.
Yeah, that's okay. I think that's the norm. I don't even think it's considered crazy dog lady anymore.
It's fun. I've always been passionate about dogs ever since I was a kid, and then I went away to school initially, thinking I wanted to do a veterinary science or get my DVM and be a veterinarian, and then decided that it was just a lot of school, and I was done. So I graduated with my bachelor's in animal science and went to work for a shelter in Kentucky, a kill shelter. It was a government-run shelter, so I've been on that side of things too, which actually made me even more passionate about starting the rescue when I moved back to Chicago, which is where I was born and raised. Working at that shelter in Kentucky, I saw the government side of it. I had to go and meet with the government to talk about it and give the reports and everything and what was going on. And seeing how many really nice dogs were needlessly killed just because of a lack of space and honestly for a lack of trying in most facilities like this, that made me really passionate about starting something that could help make a difference.
Cool. You know what? I know it's an uncomfortable conversation for anybody who's a dog lover, an animal lover, when it comes to these kill shelters. Like you said, it's one of those evils that could be worked on to make it, more of a, to help them more. But when somebody's so passionate about these lives, sees that, what's the effect of it? Because you grow attachment to these animals, to these little guys. Like there's no doubt about it. You talk about falling in love with a picture, but being there with them, feeding them, petting them, and seeing that, oh my goodness, there's a timetable on this guy.
Absolutely. It's hard, and it's really hard on a lot of the shelter staff, especially the ones that are in the trenches that are there working with them every day, not just the ones that are behind the scenes. It can cause compassion fatigue, and people get burnt out on it a lot because it's exhausting, and we placed 1,400 dogs in 3 short years, and it's never ending. We didn't even we made a dent, but it's a very, very, very small dent in what's happening in our country.
Now, you know what, and it's so sad, but you know what, let's take this back. Let's talk a little bit about that. So you said 1,400 lives have been saved?
Yes. And
what's the equivalent? You said how many families do you think you've been able to adopt to within?
We had several repeat adopters, but I would say it's probably close to 1,380.
That's amazing. So people come back to you guys.
Yes.
That's awesome.
We get that a lot. Yeah, it's great, and it's really nice, especially when they want a new brother or sister for their dog. So they come right back to us because they've had such a great experience, which is, that says a lot, and it really touches our hearts.
Jacquie, we only have a few more moments. I know you're extremely busy trying, save every animal and going to school, going back to school to save even more lives. So let's take this back. Let's plug in a couple things. So I want to be a new pet owner. I don't want to go to what are those called? Those breed farms or whatever. Those crappy.
Push mills.
Yes. Stay away from all that stuff. What? Tell us a little bit. Plug in some things. Websites. Twitter, anything you guys have. We're gonna pound this through into our listeners' ears. So my show, my rules. What do you guys got?
You can get on our website at secondcitycaninerescue.org. You can apply to foster. You can apply to adopt. See what we're about there. We also have a Facebook page. Just search Second City Canine Rescue. We've got a Twitter. It's at Second City spelled out, and then the letter K and the number 9. And then we also have an event coming up that we're participating in called Rescue the Runway Chicago. It's at Lagunitas Brewing Company in the basement, and it is a fashion show with some rescue dogs. It's going to be a great time.
That's amazing. Any last words for anybody with the pets, thinking about adopting, thinking about giving up a dog? Anything that you should look out for our little guys, especially with the cold months coming up?
Sure, absolutely. Keep your dogs warm. Keep your pets inside. They're members of your family. If you're looking to adopt or looking to buy a dog, definitely keep adoption as your first option.
See, that's amazing. I love it. Jacquie, if there's ever any other future events you guys coming up, anytime you just want to get on, if there's a subject that you guys need to get off your chest over at Second City, you guys have it home here at Outreach Radio Chicago. Please keep kicking ass like you guys keep doing. Do it at school. I can't believe you're going back to save more lives. That's amazing to me. Like you're doing the grind over there, and then you're going to do the grind over. And you're over by you're going down south, right? So you're doing work
I'm in Auburn, Alabama. Absolutely.
Oh my. Okay. Okay. I apologize. You know what? I won't make any Auburn Tigers and Alabama Roll Tide stuff. Yeah. I'll leave it out of there. Okay.
I appreciate it.
We can. Jacquie Cobb, president of Second City Canine Rescue. Thank you so much for joining us on Outreach Radio Chicago.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
And that'll do it for us today, friends, on Outrage Radio Chicago. I want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. A big thank you to the president of Second City Canine Rescue, Jacquie Cobb, for joining us on the show. You go on their Twitter at Second City K9. That's Second City spelled out, the letter K9. Like their page on Facebook at Second City K9. And if you want to adopt, foster, whatever it is, guys, you want to make a difference, you want to help out, go to their website at secondcityk9.org, and they have all their great information there, some events that they have coming up. And if this is something you're interested in, guys, please check these guys out. They're a really good organization, really good people, and they care. And that's the bottom line when it comes to it. It's like they really care about this cause, and they really care about the lives of of these little friends of ours that make our lives so much better. So anything we can do here on Outreach Radio Chicago, please let us know, and we'll do that for Second City Canine. That'll do it, though, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, we're everywhere on Twitter. You can follow us at mmercado2333 for any post-show stuff. If you like our page on Facebook, you can see even more pictures and things that we're doing. That's at Outreach Radio Chicago. If you've missed any show, just go to YouTube/MikeMercado2333. We have them all up there. Thank you so much for Jacquie Cobb for joining us. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Outreach Radio Chicago. Take us home, Hob. Hey everybody, Mike Mercado here from Outreach Radio Chicago, and I just want to thank you all for all the support you have given us on the brand new show. If someone you know wants to get the word out on a fundraiser, charity, or foundation in your local community, please send us an email at outreachradiochicago@gmail.com or send me one personally at mmercado@newswebradio.net. Or you can tweet me at mmercado2333, and don't forget to like our Facebook page at Outreach Radio Chicago. From right here at the studios, we'll see you next time on Outreach Radio Chicago.